Hi, this is Dr. Lauterbach, and this is an introduction to Nursing 7020 Organizational and Assistive Leadership. So, this course focuses on leadership, ethics, examples of ways that the theories of organizational leadership can be used. And it's an excellent preparation for learning the basic tenets of organizational leadership in healthcare. The course objectives are in the syllabus, of course, and they're here in abbreviated form. We look at healthcare policy. We're going to look at ethical leadership uh, in complex systems, cost implications of healthcare leadership, and the way that you manage cost, because that's a major issue in healthcare, technology and ethics, and interprofessional communication. So these are the required texts. I have been using the Organizational Behavior in Healthcare by Borkowski and Meese since I started this course 5 years ago. I like the text because it is a very application-oriented text, but has sufficient depth to be used in a graduate course. It covers major theories, contemporary theories, but it's not so academically theory rich that it's hard to read. The other course, other text is the Maccoby text, Transforming Healthcare and Leadership. And I like that one. I think it pairs well with Borkowski. It brings a systems level perspective to help leaders tackle multidimensional problems, not just organizational symptoms. It has some very practical tools. It provides frameworks and methodologies leaders can apply immediately and not just the theory. So, the Borkowski and Mies text is really an organizational psychology oriented text, and the the Maccoby et al. Text is much more direct about techniques of management and leadership. This is the course structure. I've opened the whole course to you, including all of the discussion boards, but I want to caution you about the discussion boards. Don't get too far ahead. I have taught this course, as I've said a number of times, like probably 10 times. And I usually make changes to discussion boards based on experiences I've had in prior sections. There's some new technology coming to us in Blackboard that will let you do video discussion boards, not synchronous, they're asynchronous. But I think that might be more interesting than typing a whole lot of thing or copying and pasting a bunch of text. What I'm hoping you'll do with the discussion boards is base it in what we're studying in that module, uh, but also bring in your interpretation of how that applies in your own worked experiences. It makes it much more interesting than just having you regurgitating theories and so forth. So that's kind of how I want to do those discussion boards. Some of the modules will have some mini lectures, longer versions of kind of what you're looking at here. And I put those in the modules where I've noticed that students have a little more difficulty in grasping the concepts of the particular module. In others, it'll just be discussion boards, assignments, and so forth online. It will probably disappoint no one that we have no tests in this course. I'm going to show you how that breaks out here in a second in terms of the grades. So this is how the grades break out on the course. I got my head down here and can't see discussion boards, but I'll just tell you, uh, it's 300 points out of the 1,000. There are examples of each of these assignments in Blackboard. The policy and position paper, read the rubric, follow the rubric. Pretty straightforward. Personal philosophy. Again, follow the instructions. Link your philosophy to content you've already studied in the course, like theories of leadership, but make it your own and explain why you have come that way. The instructions go into this, but I mean, we form our leadership philosophies from a lot of different sources, not necessarily out of textbook or something that we've had in a academic course. A lot of us learn how to be leaders by watching our parents, by watching our grandparents, by watching other people uh, in our lives or people we've worked for. So you can incorporate all that, but just make sure you have some basis in what we're studying in terms of the theories. The Strategic Practice Initiative is something that you want to see in an organization. It's easier, I think, if you pick one where you're working, but you don't have to. It does have to be healthcare. Uh, it could be quality improvement, it could be new services, it could be a way to improve customer satisfaction or employee engagement. Again, follow the instructions in the grading rubric. This is how we've set up Blackboard because I know that when you get with different faculty, there's some variation in the way we set up our Blackboards. Um, Start here. When you open it, start here is that first thing at the top. That's where you're going to find the syllabus, course description, and objectives in my bio. Now, you guys know me because I've had you in health promotion. As students, I've been your instructor. Probably for most of you, I think, when I was looking over the class list in assessment and sporadically in other primary care courses. But my real job it really is based in leadership, being the leadership faculty in the graduate program. So read the bio and figure out why I'm qualified to do that. University policies and online information, so forth, and the student and faculty resources, they're the next tabs as you're going through it. They're just boilerplate, they're the same. In the course modules, it says course modules and materials. That's the point I want to point out to you. Now, if we've had courses together, you know I set them all up about the same way. There's a module for every week. They're numbered by the weeks of the semester. And then there's a module zero. I put all of the upload links for your assignments and any additional kinds of information that don't directly link pieces of, resources that just don't directly link to a week's module. I'll put it there. Um, and then when you get into a weekly module, you'll see that it has key points, additional required or optional readings, and so forth. It'll be obvious to you when you open them up. Now we're going to talk about the discussion boards. They occur in weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, and 13. Discussion board instructions are in the weekly overview document, which is in each weekly module. General instructions for posting is your first post, your opening post should be out by Wednesday midnight, and then your replies to others, which is a requirement as most discussion boards, by Sunday. So what are expectations for success in this course? One, the course is generally enjoyable. Most everybody people just do really well in the course. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. You're going to have to work, but I think it's of interest to a lot of people, whether you have an intention of being in leadership management um roles or not. Once you emerge as an advanced practice nurse in a work setting, you're already a leader. You're going to, whether you want to be or not. And I think people recognize that. So I think that these are skills that, and knowledge that will be helpful to you. Um, but a few key points to think about is consistent participation, some critical thinking, not just regurgitating stuff. This isn't really like your clinical specialty courses where we have got to cram a whole lot of very specific information into your head so that you will have the knowledge and skills that you need when you go into practice and also take your certification exam. Practically none of this, I can't think of any of this content will be on your certification exam. So we don't need to worry about that. Set that aside. These are more theoretical ideas that we're going to be talking about. And why do people behave the way they do? And, what happens when like a work group kind of veers off course and people get all um, spun up about things that are kind of trivial, this negative excitement. cycle that's so common in workplaces. It's that kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about more than anything else. We'll do the, transformational leadership, transactional leadership, and all that kind of thing, um, as usual, in any leadership course. But we're going to take it to a little higher level. All that said, I want to hear your critical thinking. I don't want you just to tell me what has already been presented in the course. I want to hear what you think about it. Professional writing, of course, like the major assignments are going to be APA 7. Discussion boards are not APA 7. And then the ethical and academic conduct that we expect in all courses. Let's talk about communication and support. Blackboard's our primary platform. There are no synchronous meetings at all through Blackboard. We don't have any synchronous Zooms. This is all purely asynchronous online. Email via Madonna email accounts. That goes both ways. You email me at my Madonna email account, which is clouterbach at madonna.edu, and I will email messages to you at your Madonna email account. So please check it regularly. It is better to email me if you have an issue than to send me a message in Blackboard. Here's the reason. I didn't can't remember right now. I think I'm teaching 4 classes, maybe active in 5, but not teaching full of them. And that's pretty typical for me in a semester. I don't touch every Blackboard course every day. I don't. So if you sent me a message, and especially if you sent me one that you didn't click the little box that says send an email with this message, I may not see that for 3 or 4 days. So don't use messaging in Blackboard. I mean, if you decide you want to, be aware I may not see it for a couple days. But if you email me, I'll get back to you in 24 hours, usually less. I'm interacting through my phone when I'm working online and so forth from 6 in the morning till about 10 o'clock every night. So I'm going to get back to you. But if you need to get a hold of me urgently, feel free to call me. My mobile number is here on the slide. You can write it down, keep it. And my office hours, although I don't think I've ever had anybody come visit me in 9 years of teaching in my office hours, but they are Monday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. till noon. But you can talk to me anytime. I don't want you to wait for that to come and talk to me. And the help desk, of course, for technical issues. Why does this course matter? Well, leadership impacts cost, quality, and access. Your voice influences healthcare systems, and you are preparing yourself to lead change. Even if you don't want to be a manager, you are going to be a leader. Actually, as a registered professional nurse, you're already a leader. So, what you can take away for this course is how to do that better and how to not be the kind of leader you don't want to be. I think you'll find it interesting. So, I welcome you. I'm happy to see all of you again this semester. Please review the syllabus carefully and reach out to me with any questions you may have.